welcome back. Well, we're now here at the Viva Cafe, which is a great place to meet. Thanks for inviting me here, Steve. And I've got Steve Graveson with me here, and he's going to tell us all about the open air art. Tell us how that was initiated here.
Well, it was the end of the 80s. The shoe market had just crashed. The kiwifruit industry, which had become the main industry in Katikati, was going through a crisis at the time. And there was up to 32 empty businesses in town. And somebody had been to Shemanis in Vancouver Island in Canada, Barbara Wolfenton, and she came back with the idea of doing that in Katikati, giving a boost to Katikati, which really badly needed it at the time. You know, there was also the talk of the bypass. How are we going to attract people to come to Katikati? And in Shemanis they had the idea of putting history of art, history of the town, as art on the walls. And she came to Katikati, found a group of people like-minded, very enthusiastic, and went from there. So by the end of the end of the 90s, the first year of the 90s, they had 6 murals were up. So they were off to a great start, yeah. And it's just snowballed from there.
So how has the town's history actually gotten around on these murals?
Well, each mural, and there's nearly 50 works of art now, valued at probably $350,000. Each particular item has a bit of history in it. One of the things that one of the real co-founders and the driving forces behind it, June Carlton, everything had to have a wow factor. You know, Katikati hasn't got the monopoly on murals. You know, every town in New Zealand's got murals, but they had to be of high quality, and open air art was prepared to pay for that quality, and they had to be relevant to the town. So each mural or artwork that we have now, and there's not just murals, there's sculptures, there's tapestries, carvings, have something that links back to Katikati.
And they are beautifully done.
Yeah,
They really are, and I can see the quality. We can see the quality really is there. Who are the artists?
They vary. Well, probably if you added everybody up, there's probably 800 or 900 people that have probably worked on the artworks, which sounds a lot, but there's lots of the artworks may have only one artist, but then there's lots. Every now and then we do a community-based artwork. And like the primary school did one, we'll see there's 600 kids there, and they all had a part in it, whether it was a mosaic, a panel, whatever. And then there's festivals and that, we do things that involve the community, so everybody has a bit of a chance of contributing as well, so it's not just paid artists doing things, so yeah. So
that's great. I mean, we've already heard from Mabel today. You know, she's got her people in her family on there, her marai's on there, and so the community really feels like it's part of them, don't they?
Well, the community actually own the murals. They're not owned by open air art. Open air art is just the guardians, and so everybody that lives in Katikati has a part to play, though, because the murals are theirs. So they look after them. You know, they're a treasure for the town. So yeah, and we're continuing to do that.
Now, you mentioned earlier that Katikati needed something. It's kind of like finding your DNA, isn't it? So way back in the early 90s or whatever it was. So has it achieved the goal, do you believe?
I certainly think it has, because now we're known nationally and internationally as New Zealand's mural town. You know, we're on websites, pictures, you see pictures in books, publications, tourism documents have us in. The council recognise us as and deal with us as an identity in ourselves when they're doing things around town. So we have got to that point where we are, you know, very recognised now, and established that
entity. Does it bring the tourists in?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
And what response do you get from them? And what are they saying?
We haven't done any surveys or anything, but it's hard to say. But you see people wandering around taking pictures, and you hear positive things from people. We know that a lot of people do stop. And the local community is always interested in when something new is happening as well. So, and the feedback we get from that is really positive too. You know.
Fantastic. And so, do you have a favourite yourself?
Well, I may be a little bit biased because I have contributed to one of them, but I've got probably a couple. One is actually a sculpture, the Pioneers, because of what it means. It's a tribute to June Carlton, who was a very good friend, and probably the other one. Probably be two would be probably the landing and the Athery Homestead, but they're all special in their own way. They're all, you know, it's one of the things that you see a mural and you sort of think, oh yeah, the people in town see it go up overnight, But a lot of these murals have taken years and years of hard work by different people to get to that stage. So, you know, they're all a story in themselves. Well, we have a website, the katikati.co.nz. We also have newzealandmuraltown.co.nz too. So, and then any information, books, yeah.
Thanks so much for meeting up with us today, Steve. Really good to find out all about the murals in the town.
You're welcome.
Great. And we're going to take a little bit more of a look around, and after that we're going to check out what's happening in the region. The Legacy Trust New Zealand Mural Contest and Arts Festival is the 11th to the 16th of October in the Katikati Town Centre. The theme for this year's event is In a Land of Plenty. For more information, check out the website katikati.co.nz. The Katikati Plant and Produce Market is every Friday 4 to 6 p.m. in the AMP Showgrounds, Major Street, Katikati. New stall holders are welcome. Call 07 5449 2449 for more information. The Katikati Ukulele Group meets every Thursday at 6:30 p.m. at the Homewood Park Tennis Club, 30A Park Road, Katikati. For more information, call 027 2715 301. To promote your event on the show, call 07 888 5030 at least 2 weeks prior to your event.